So there's something called the law of averages, and if you're a Jim Rohn fan, it's a law in everything we do in life, especially in sales. But 16 people originally said they were going to show tonight, and how many of us are on? 8. So I'm not saying I'm discouraged, but I want to show you a prime example of the law of averages. This law of averages goes throughout everything you do in your business. It goes through the people you recruit and add to your team. It goes into your customers and whether they'll actually use the products. It goes into your potential list and those that say they're interested and will follow through and purchase. And it goes with those that you talk to that actually show interest. So there's a trickle effect. So you're going to talk to 1,000 people, a certain percentage average of people will say they're interested. Of that, a certain percentage and average of people will actually pull the trigger. If they became affiliates, a certain percentage of them are actually going to work the business. And of a certain percentage of those will only be runners, okay? So it's something that you have to discipline your disappointment in. And I never expect, everybody to drop everything at the drop of a hat to be on something. I know we all have lives, and it's especially difficult to wrangle everybody up from all different time zones because, like, for me right now, it's 6 o'clock here and my kids are just running around the house, probably destroying it while my husband's at work and I'm in here. And, I keep forgetting to turn that off. And some of you are ready for bed on the East Coast. And so I know that timing can be difficult for some people, and so I always understand that. If 100 people told me they were going to watch the replay of a training video, chances are 20 of them really will do it. And the good news is as you continue your journey and you get better at what you do and how you do it, that average continues to go up. So it's a matter of timing. It's a matter of perfecting your pitch, perfecting your leadership. And there's no perfect way about it. As you guys know, I'm never perfect, especially when it comes to typos. And the only way to get better is to keep trying. So a lot of people will ask me, well, what do I say? How do I respond? What's the script you use? And there's no right answer to that. The only way to perfect is to do it more. And so the reason why usually leadership and top leaders and top earners in this company do so well is because they talk to more people and they get more no's than most people even talk to. So I think I probably today alone got 15, 20 ignores or no thank yous. The other night I got about 40 no's, but guess what? I still got lots of yeses. I still got 15 new pre-enrollees in the past few days, and that was my average. I've perfected my pitch. I've perfected how I say it. It belongs to me. It feels right. But in the beginning, it didn't always. So that's just something I wanted to point out as I see, 7 or 8 of us on when 16 say they're going to show up. It's just one of those things I want you guys to know and learn to discipline your disappointment for your future teams. And again, I'm not disappointed at all because it's really amazing that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of you on right now. How many of you would like 7 people that are ready to run in the business with you? I mean, heck yeah, right? So that's exciting to me. But I will tell you, we have over 300 people on our team. And that is just the law of average. This is an initiative-based business. I put it out there. Is it perfect that we communicate through Messenger all the time? No, but it's an option, and it's better than not communicating at all in my mind. And of that, 300 people on the team, we had, maybe 20 say that they were going to read this book together with us. Law of averages, guys. So I'm super proud that you guys are here and that you are learning. Is everyone loving this book so far? It's okay if you hate it. This book came recommended by Alicia Mayo. And a lot of what he's saying, it's like what I've had in my head, and it's how I try my best to run my business, by creating my own personal brand. However, it's so hard for me to explain it. And I feel like he just does such a really good job at explaining how to do that step by step and giving examples, and really kind of keeping you motivated at the same time. So, I have notes. Oh, that's the wrong notebook. I'm like, where's my notes? Let me go run, and it's in my purse. It'll be behind me. I have like 15 different notebooks. I always have something with me in case something comes to mind, because I won't ever remember. So let me go run and get it from my purse. I'll be right back. If you guys want to talk amongst each other, and maybe Leslie, will you start with maybe a leadership tip, and then we can move across the screen while I go get that? Just unmute yourselves.
Yeah, no. A leadership tip. So, yeah, be a professional asker. I love that one, Melissa. I always just offer the opportunity and ask and share with everyone I basically meet.
That's a really, that's my favorite, and that's the only way that I feel like we've gotten to the position we're at. I'm looking at this screen now. Leslie is somebody I reached out to and was like, hey, I'm doing this. I know you would do good. Will you at least take some info? My mom, Anne Marie, who's to my right, I think, for you guys and me, I reached out to her. Not really. My husband reached out to her and was like, Melissa's a drug dealer. Did you know this? And I freaked out and talked to her about just, CBD in general and the education of it. But the next day I called her and I said, Mom, I need to have your email. This is exploding way beyond what I imagined. And I don't want to leave you behind in it. Even if you're like hating me right now for doing this, just hear me out and let me have your email. And I pre-enrolled her. And then Thursday I was like, Mom, I need your credit card. You're going to need to buy in at $630 because just trust me, okay? Just trust me. And then Crystal. Oh my God, Crystal nearly gave me a heart attack. Crystal kept skipping her pre-enrollment. The re-enrollment would pass. She'd get leapfrogged. And I'm like, Crystal, this is you. You are a cannabis user. Like, you need to hop in this. She's on vacation. She's like, I just been busy. So finally she buys one bottle. I'm like, listen. And me and Crystal go way back. And I'm like, listen, Yash. Like, you're going to need to do better than that. I'm telling you right now. Trust me. She worked an event with me. We sold out of our oils without even being able to talk to people. Like, she was like, what the frick just happened? I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm doing. People were writing us checks for $69 and we were like, are we supposed to charge tax? Are we supposed to charge shipping? Is that really the price? Like, what's happening? So we didn't know what we were doing. We just sat there in Zumba and I got 13,000 steps in that event. I remember, I'll never forget. I was like, we just danced and made money for like 2 hours. That was awesome. And so she goes, okay, I bought the executive pack like the next day. That was being a professional asker. Jennifer did reach out to me. Susan, I said, I need to call you on my way home from work. Can I call you on my way home from work? I don't know who iPhone users are. I don't know if you guys want to announce yourselves, but it's all about being a professional asker, for sure. So you got to get over yourselves and you got to reach out to those people and tell them, listen, like, this is running and it's running hot. If you will just look at it, like, it doesn't cost you anything to look at it. And that system of ours, that pre-enrollment system, is just amazing, guys. It's amazing. And we'll work together tonight. For those of you who are not so familiar with it, I hope you are. Teams that use that free tour, online tour, free business tour system grow 10 times faster and larger than teams that don't, 10 to 20 times. It is an amazing tool. And I will tell you, when I was working 60 hours a week at a job, and I didn't have time to talk about comp plan, and I didn't have time to talk about what package options there were and what products there were. I was like, listen, this is where you get the info, so log in and look at it. And it frees up your time to continue to recruit, which is where your money is made, recruiting and being a professional asker. So anyways, thanks for that tip, Leslie. Did anybody else, Mom, do you want to give a tip? And, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, had to unmute.
Yeah.
I would word vomit right now. Sorry.
That's okay.
Listen to the book, plug in, share your story. I was actually getting my nails done today, and the pedicure gentleman that I always have, his name is Tom, and his sister works there, and his wife, and his sister-in-law. And I was sharing with them about my peripheral vision and how it helped my peripheral vision come back after the stroke from 3 years ago. And a lady was sitting next to me, and she goes, "Oh, I have CBD right here in my coffee." Lo and behold, she's on a cross-line team from all of us.
How funny.
And she's looking to be on a different team. And of course, I don't ever encourage somebody to switch teams.
Yeah.
That her people aren't active or anything. So she's going to start joining us at the team events when we do them here in Arizona once a month. But the lady to my left, that was the lady to my right, her name was Cindy. And the lady to my left says, "Wait a minute, tell me more about this, because my husband just had a stroke." And lo and behold, she bought a trial pack from me right there and then.
Nice. So make $10 profit.
Mix it in with your everyday things.
1,000%. I went to Dunkin' Donuts. I put an application out on my business page for an assistant for someone who can help with our accounting, who can okay, I'm muting you. Who can help with our accounting, who can help with emails and follow-ups with customers and stuff. Because for me, I'm at the point where I'm paying someone $12 an hour to do that. I can go out and do the fun stuff and recruiting and meeting new people. As I was interviewing 2 people in the Dunkin' Donuts, they said CBD oil, and they made me come over and talk to them. I got my card. By the time I was done with the second interview, I had a voicemail from him and his wife. I met them today. While I met up with Gail to do some work with her at the Whole Foods. And they are not only going to host an event for me, but they're making either a 1 or a 4 product purchase as a customer. And he has a huge community he's a Christian counselor. And so he has a huge community of people that respect him for his opinions. And so that's pretty cool. This Helena girl is calling me. Do you guys either want to listen in, or do you want to keep talking about tips with each other? You want to seal the deal? Okay. All right, I'll keep it rolling. Hey, Helena.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome. I'm excited.
Yay!
Well, here's my husband. He did listen to the conversation.
Oh,
I
okay.
want to talk to him about it, you know?
Yeah, no, I understand.
He made a decision, so you can talk to him now.
Okay.
His Mike.
You said Mike?
Yeah.
Hi, Mike. I'm Melissa.
Hi. So what part of Marina are you at?
We live near Gladden Farms.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're up in Missile Base.
Is that over by the airfield?
Yeah, it's headed up in that direction.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Would you guys want to meet up tonight, or I have a meeting until about 8 o'clock, but I don't know how late you stay up normally.
I wish we didn't have to go to sleep.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So you have a meeting, so you'll be around Marina around 8?
Yeah, I have a meeting at my home in Marina until 8, so I could leave my home at 8 and probably be near you guys by 8:10, 8:15.
And you have the bacon drops?
I do. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that too late for you?
No, I can probably meet you down at Circle K.
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, I can probably meet you there at like 8:10.
Okay, yeah, that's like 3 minutes from my house, so that's perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
So why don't we do that?
Okay.
And do I need cash or can you take card?
I can do whichever you prefer.
Okay.
We don't take Discover or American Express.
Yeah, I use my Visa debit.
Okay, perfect.
Sometimes I have trouble getting cash out of the machine at the Circle K. So.
Yeah, and I don't want you to have to pay a fee anyways, so.
Okay.
So do you want to do the bacon drops for the doggy, or do you want to do the human line too?
We'll just do the right now for him.
Okay.
So we'll just do 2 bottles, you said? Yeah, 2 bottles of the bacon. Now, can we put that like on a cookie or something, like a hamburger, and let it soak in?
Yeah, definitely. My dog will take it right from the dropper, but you could put it on a cookie too.
Okay, yeah, I don't think he'll take it from a dropper right away.
Yeah.
Maybe if he gets the taste of it, and then he'll let us.
Yeah, he might. Yeah. I'll bring 2 of those then, and it'll be $77.95.
Okay. And that 71 plus tax?
So they're normally 89 plus tax retail, but what I do is I pass along my wholesale price. So it ends up being 69 plus technically shipping, but it still saves you about $20 doing it that way. So I'm giving you the ones I have on hand and having yours reshipped to me to replace mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
you're welcome. And that'll register you for the money back too, the guarantee, if I do it that way. So it works out best for everyone.
It doesn't go bad?
No, it's got an 18-month shelf life. I would recommend using it once open within 6 months.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
He'll use it up by then.
Yeah, you'll be good there. So.
Can husband use it for his allergies?
My mom accidentally took the bacon one time. She says it's not so bad, but I probably recommend the human line. It's more of a natural bacon flavor, not necessarily the crispy bacon for breakfast. So.
Hey guys, everybody loves bacon.
My mom's in the background. She says everybody loves bacon. So
it helps for allergies for humans too. You do have some?
Yeah, so what happens in the system is CBD will open up or trigger and attach to your cannabinoid receptors in your body. You actually are born with these receptors in your body. And those receptors help regulate multiple different systems, including central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, GI, gastrointestinal tract, and it's there's a number of different things it can help with. So like I use it for pain. It does help my mom with her allergies. She also is a former stroke victim, so it's helped like get her vision back, got her off anxiety medication. And then my grandmother has head tremors, so she uses it for that to help control her head tremors.
Oh man.
So many different uses.
We'll be getting some for us. But
Well,
right now we have to take care of him because he's really bad.
no, I understand, definitely. And so long as there's no like price change from our supplier, the company directly, we keep that 4-pack special ongoing. So if ever you guys do want to take advantage of that, by all means, it'll be there.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'll see you about 8:10 then.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Talk to you guys later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, so I'm gonna bring, sorry guys, I just, you guys can see like how simple it can be. You guys know your stuff, so I don't have to see it, but at least you get to see it in action. So I bring order forms with me there, because that way I don't have to sit and like go through the phone with them. And then as soon as I get home, I put it in. There's been situations where I get a fraud alert. If that's the case, I'll run their card through my Square. I will warn you, and insane. I don't know if you can see this. I have them fill out the first part, name, email address, phone number, stuff like that. I write down the credit card info and have them sign, because so many people will like mix two numbers up, or I can't read their handwriting, or they have a dark card. This happened at the fair, and they thought a 0 was an 8 or whatever. So verify yourself. My mom does take a photo of the card. She's really good at saying why to them, and that is her niche. I'm not very good at that. I've tried it before, and people are like, no, don't take a picture of my card. So that's just what works for her. And that way, if she does get the fraud alert, she can take the ID and card and send it into corporate for them to approve it to be run. So if I got a fraud alert, I run it through my Square, and I use Credit Wallet funds to enroll them. If you're not familiar with Credit Wallet, there's a training video on that. All right, so anyways, that's that. That was cool to be able to like seal the deal with live with you guys right there. I did start mentioning I like taking different testimonies, and it's really cool to come together as a team, sidelines, and work together. Like, thank you so much, Rob, and thanks, Heather. I don't think she's on tonight. She had some stuff going on. For coming together as sidelines and doing that yesterday, because not only do you start to develop a relationship with someone else, but you all have different stories that can reach different markets for people that you each individually have. So working with sidelines, it might not financially immediately benefit you, but in the long run, it actually can benefit you. And that's just having an abundance mindset. There is so much open business for us all around us, and keeping that abundance mindset instead of a competitive mindset, which is still sometimes fun too, is always great. So thank you guys for doing that. Mom, you were talking about that other sideline girl coming to meetings and stuff, and that reminded me of that. Anyone else want to give some tips? Rob, you're up next if you want to give any tips. You don't have to. And then you good? I can unmute you. Go ahead.
Yeah, the only tip I would say would be keep moving. Don't depend on one person.
Yes, 1000%.
Even if sometimes we can get trapped, we want it more for them than they want it for themselves.
Yeah, that's one big thing from a leadership standpoint that I had to really get over. I would personally take it to heart when I helped someone finally get started, and they're like for example, I recently have someone that has over 60,000 in rollover binary volume that can't even, she's like, we just don't even have the money. She's sending people to their website still. They're not commission qualified, but they finally took down their site because it's been like 4 months since they ordered. And she's like, you know what, we're just not going to do it because like we don't have the money. And I'm like, but you're selling bottles. Why don't you collect the cash and order it through your site to keep yourself active? She has 60,000 in rollover volume. They just got evicted. And if someone came in, was an executive with 60,000 in rollover volume, guys, once they got that evened out in binary volume, it's $9,000. $9,000. So that volume is just gone because she's just quitting. I'm like, can I sell your spot to someone? Like, I hate to see that go to waste. And so 5 years ago, that would have really taken a toll on me. I would have taken it personally. I would have like really zoned in on it. But you have to keep moving. That one person's not going to make or break it. Do I wish and pray and hope that they would get rolling? Like, get going, man. Stop like getting, you know how many people, they get commission qualified and they're like, this is my month. I'm going to finally work it. And then they don't for 30 days. And then day 31, they're like, I have a sale. Well, you're not commission qualified because you spent 30 days not doing anything. And so you're going to get people like that too. You have to learn to discipline your disappointment. And so that's why I wanted to talk about the law of averages in the beginning of this, because there is something to running with this business. Network marketing loves speed, loves speed. And we're not talking about speed of how fast can you read a personal development book, because that is only maybe 20% of what you should be doing with your time maximum. You know, we're talking about talking to 10, 20, 30 new people a day. Following up with 10, 20, 30 new people a day, not the same people, new, different people. Your prospect list you should be adding to that pipeline every day. So that's a great point, Robert. Thank you. Crystal, you want to give a tip? Oops, sorry. I tried to unmute you too.
Okay. So I just kind of want to add on to what you and Anne-Marie were saying. So with advertising on your vehicle, if you can. My window decal has actually gotten me today a potential got a sample pack, and last night a coworker, by sharing little things here and there, because I have it on my purse and stuff like that, so people ask like, why do you have a hemp leaf, you know, because I work for a state agency. So just general conversations with people, and not putting any judgment on who will or won't want this, because literally the lady who bought a director pack last night, I would have never in my life thought she would. And then she was like, I need it for my dog and my husband and for me. And I'm like, okay, well then let's get a director pack and get you one for free. And she's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And so like, just to stay open-minded, share any way that you can and keep your ears open. And when you can add it into a conversation without it being kind of salesy, but then that's how, you know, now it's been a couple of months, but I got a director pack and a customer who will probably be a regular user, because their dog is older. So that's my biggest thing that I'm learning. And I feel a lot more comfortable the more that I do it. So doing like a lot of events, I'm getting a lot more comfortable with, you know, being able to talk to people and what flows well for me. And sometimes I have to act like they are a really close friend. It helps me like with wording so that I don't come off as salesy, if that makes sense. I have to put myself in like that type of mindset. Or I seem to like help my teammates when I'm helping them talk to their potentials. My fear isn't there as much as when I'm talking to one of my own. So trying to find what type of mindset helps you build the flow in how your conversations will go. Because the script is nice, but it's not gonna flow well with your other words if you use certain scripts of other people. So to read it and come up with your own saying is great, but doing is actually what's gonna teach you the best. Sorry, I'm at the grocery store, so I'm kind of like all over the place.
One thing I will mention, because I've worked a lot one-on-one with Crystal, I have a screaming child in the background. He's been nonstop like this lately. They've just been fighting like dogs and cats. I can hear it. Oh my gosh, I need some CBD. Crystal's really good about asking for contact information. And she's just very, well, is it okay if I get your information so I can make sure to kind of send you some information and research and helpful tips on what to look for in quality CBD. And she's not afraid to ask for that, and that's why she does so well. It's like she's almost always near or has been on the leaderboard at some point in the month. I mean, she probably averages anywhere from 15 to 30 enrollments a month, I would say, right, Crystal? Yeah. And that's, she's very good about getting contact information. I know we're kind of running a little bit, I want to keep this to exactly an hour. And so what I'll do is, those of you who didn't get to pitch in on some tips this go around, you'll be first up next go around, because we will meet weekly, and that's at least just as leaders. But I just definitely wanted to pass along some tips, and I want to go over a little bit on the book that we're reading. So I really appreciate you guys kind of staying. It's a short book, so I mean, it was like less than an hour's read over the course of a week. So if you're reading 10 minutes a day, then you're fine, right? So That's, you know, the compound effect. We sometimes get so overwhelmed with all that's on our plates that we forget, we kind of shut down instead of like taking those little chunks at a time and getting a little bit better than we were the day before. So I know that there's a lot between Rockstar Adventures and Hemp Squad and the chats and your personal page and Adventure Social and Rockstar Social, and I get it. So just pick something to check out for the day and learn. And that just means that you're a little bit smarter and a little bit further along than you were the day before. Okay? All right, so, my phone is blowing up. It's giving me anxiety. Everybody wants CBD. Not a bad thing, right? I went back too far on my notes. So I took some notes on the book, and did I just, oh my gosh, see, I grabbed the wrong notebook again. I took some notes here, and I kind of wanted to go over some of these with you guys. So, so chapter 1, it's called Passion is Everything, right? So have you guys ever been to a car dealership, or have you ever bought something or potentially bought something from somebody that is like, yeah, so we have these beautiful rings. I know you're getting engaged and about to buy a $10,000 ring, but so we have these rings and they're pretty. Like, do you want to look at them? And then it's very difficult to make a sale without the passion. And so I think for us, that passion needs to start in using the products. And I think the majority of us are in that position. And finding that testimony and finding 1 to 2 other people that you love and care about deeply that are using it and it's helping them change their lives. So for me, that's a lot of the time where my passion stems from. And sometimes in terms of the business aspect of things, I think of, and this is not to be sexist, but I think of the mom who, like myself, is working 60 hours a week and has to pull her kids out of gymnastics because she has to beg, borrow, and steal to get them watched from 5 to 8 at night, gets to kiss them goodnight, wake up early in the morning, and only gets to shower 3 times a week at best. And that's where I was at. And I know there's a lot of moms out there, or they're tired and they're wiped. Or I think of the dad that is working that they're 40 hours a week, and then they went and got a side job for the weekend too to keep their wife at home. Or I think of the single mom or the single dad. And for me, my passion stems from the corporate world. It is a true pyramid, right? The person above is always making more. And most of the time they did work hard and put tenure in to get there. The problem with the corporate world is once you at the bottom of the ladder, mid ladder, or below anyone on the ladder start to really excel and shine, instead of it lifting up the person above you, it starts to threaten them. And sometimes those people hold you back, a lot of the times, because of fear how it may affect them. And so we are in a different position, and I want people in this world to know and understand there is a different way, there's a different option, and you don't have to rob Peter to pay Paul. I cannot believe the amount of people in this world that go, oh, I was going to sign up and buy a $70 bottle, but my car got messed up. This got stolen. My daughter got sick. So it's really, really sad to me, and not in like a demeaning way, the amount of people that don't have an extra 70 to 80 bucks a month to their name. And for me, that's where my passion stems. And so my challenge to you guys is to what really is your passion? That's got to be part of your brand. And when it comes to your brand in this, you're telling the story of your passion day in and day out through social media. I know a lot of you guys hate social media. I did too. I didn't know what a hashtag was. I thought it was called a pound sign, and I hated people that used it. Okay, I was like, that is way too many pound signs in a sentence. I know what they did. I didn't know. I remember getting on Instagram and having heart palpitations for the first time. I had no freaking clue, and I screwed it up so bad. But I slowly have, over the past 5.5 years, through network marketing, learned and added more and continued to learn. And so sometimes people are like, Melissa, you do so good on social media, and I've learned everything I can from you. I'm watching your trainings, and it's not working for me. You haven't spent 5.5 years doing what I have. So you have to just take the time to learn and apply, learn and apply, learn and apply. But I'm telling you right now, the biggest thing is I've been able to keep and tell my passion and brand myself on the social media platforms. And Gary Vee is very adamant about this. He says later in the book how social media is pretty much taking out the middleman. You no longer have a publisher. You no longer have the manager who's hiring people to write the stories. You can write your own story for free without the middleman. And it's an accelerant. So it starts with finding your passion. You guys, like authenticity. Sometimes I see these posts like, who wants to join my team? Oh my God, did you guys just hear my dog fart? Sorry. Did anyone hear that? I swear it's not me. It was Violet. It was Violet. Where is she? There she is. Anyway, so what is your passion? It might be what the products have done for you. Now, what's your passion in working the business? Showing people that you can afford products. Showing people that you don't have to go get the second job. Robert, in your situation, you took a pay cut. Showing people, hey, you might get knocked down, but there's another option too for your side hustle. You know, what is that passion? Add it to your brand, add it to your story. So he talks about, are you willing to do whatever it takes for a chance to live entirely on your own terms? And I keep saying this, but we are in a time, it is an amazing time that we are in, right, guys? Do not miss the boat. Every single day is an opportunity, and the work will always come before the motivation. I wanted to nap through tonight. I was so tired. I'm so tired. Still been kind of sick. And I didn't want to be on here in the beginning, you know, in the first part of it. Not because I don't love you guys, because I'm tired and I'm exhausted. But now I'm excited, I'm pumped up, and I'm ready to go. The work will always come before the motivation. So what are you willing to do to live entirely on your own terms? Hustle, patience, big dreams. There's endless opportunities if you want it bad enough. There's huge opportunity to achieve with minimal investment. Okay, traditional businesses, hundreds of thousands of dollars to start, thousands and thousands and thousands to continue monthly. 3 rules to live by that Gary Vee talks about. 1, love your family. So this shouldn't be taking away from your family. We're going to the lake this weekend, and we are integrating. I bought 2 banners, one for my boat, one for my mom's boat. They say, got CBD on it? Ask me on the bottom. And we're going to go party on the lake. And if people come into Party Cove and see our boat, I'm going to have that CBD with me. How cool is it to get paid and not only write off a trip to the lake, my mileage, okay? So love your family. That's always going to come first, okay? And sometimes that's hard, especially with spouses when they don't understand why you're hustling so hard. Now, you might be lucky and they do understand. I will tell you, the spouse usually is not so supportive until they see the money coming in. So be smart with your money. Be intentional with how you work. Don't just scroll mindlessly through Facebook. Your money's not made on posting and scrolling. It's made through Messenger and talking. You're not posting and you're not working for clicks. You're working for conversations. Okay? Number 2, rule to live by, work super hard. Now, some of us have full-time jobs, and that's understandable. But do you want to work that job the rest of your life and only make it by paycheck to paycheck? Do you want to have to work till you die? Or do you want to be able to integrate? do you want to be able to do things for your family that you know that you deserve, that you're capable of? And number 3, live your passion. So find what about, again, coming back to finding what about this business is really, a passion for you, and integrate that in your brand. So technology and social media have played a huge role into his success, clearly. He get up every day, every single day, pumped up for what you do, and get to work for it. So I know for me that one of the first things I think of when I wake up is this business, guys. It is forefront in my mind, and I'm like ready and pumped to go. Like, what's today gonna bring? This is what's happening. I cannot explain how wonderful it is to go from having to wake up and be lucky to shower to being able to wake up, get the kids to school, go exercise, go do what I want, go to the lake on a Thursday all the way to Sunday. I mean, this was not happening before. And this is amazing, guys. That feeling is wonderful. Manifest those feelings because you're worthy of it, okay? So what about the business makes you love it, and what drives you to work it? And this is actually a question I'm posing to you guys. So I'd like to kind of go through it with a few of you that are willing. What are your favorite parts of the business? What actually like drives you to want to work it? Any volunteers? Robert, go ahead.
Yeah, what drives me is I like the opportunity and what it can bring, but it's also nice to get those text messages that, hey, I'm not in pain anymore, or I'm off my medication, and that is nice to have.
I agree. I've never been in a business where the rate of that happening is so high. It's unreal, and that feels really, really good. That's a big driving force for me too. Does anybody else want to share? If you're not really sure, Chris is going to share in just a second, but that's one thing I'm going to tell you guys is if you're not really sure, you need to think about that. Because if you don't know why you're doing something and what's driving you, you can't pull upon that to continue to keep you going. Go ahead, Crystal.
Oh, sorry. So mine's pretty much the same with me. With how much the oil has helped me, and with being a cannabis user before, as in a medical marijuana user, that wasn't giving me the relief that CBD has been able to give me. And all the medications and all the doctors and all of that. And then being able to like help my husband's grandpa for the last 9 years that I've known him, he can't barely even stand up without going ow, ow, ow because of his knees. And in less than a month, this man every day when I come home, because right now he's with us, he tells me, I just can't believe it. What is this? He still can't say CBD. He goes BBD, DCD. He don't know, but you know how many people he's already talked to?
Yeah.
For me. So like, I really love telling customers like, hey, you're more than welcome to share it as an affiliate, but if that's not your thing, you can share it as a customer and you still get a free product. Like, we just want you to be able to help your friends when it's helping you and get a little bit from that. So like, I love being able to have the testimonies, but also that the company lets everybody, whatever way that they want to use it, still benefit from it, and have, like awesome opportunities. So I've had people at events that they're told their ex-wife, and now both of them are customers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so not only helping people, but giving them the opportunity as a customer to share and still benefit from it, I think is really amazing to me.
Yeah, I agree. One thing I would really challenge you guys to do is write this down and really focus in on what it is that is driving you. And I would really challenge you, if you are in this for a financial purpose, it's okay to talk about that. It's okay. Now, when you hear Robert and Crystal talking about these people that they've helped and that being a driving force for them, I want you to remember that when you're nervous about telling someone about it. it's not on you what their response is. They're not saying no to you, they're saying no to themselves if they do. But what if you're the answer to a lot of prayers for them? It is 1000% completely selfish for you not to share it. I share it with everybody. Everybody. Everyone. If I talk to you, you get my card. If I don't have a way to, I don't want to be salesy about things, I ask what you do. What do you do for a living? Everyone that's near me, we talk about it. And in the era we are at, guys, you say the word CBD. Sometimes I go, what's CBD? Cannabis. We help break the stigma, and we help people with pain and anxiety and without getting high. And see what they say. You're going to be amazed. But by you not sharing it, you're actually being very, very, very selfish. So you got to get over yourself and the fears. All right, so not everyone will go out and crush it, but everyone has an opportunity. And he's 100% correct. So you got to ask yourself, who will you choose to be? Right? You only got one life to live, right? I know what I choose. So social media and the internet has been the biggest shift in business, and is now become a second home for most Americans. So one thing that's really kind of sad to me, to be honest with you, when I go through Messenger and I see who's active, because you can see who's active and on, it's usually the first 20 names are usually people that I see on, because I'm on social media like 4 hours a day minimum. I make money to be on there, right? The first 20 to 30 people are usually people that are on there just as much as I am. And 90% of them are not getting paid to be on there 4 hours a day. Isn't that disgusting? We have 24 hours in a day and they're on there 4+ hours a day active. And they're complaining about money. And they're complaining about their job. And they're spending 1/6 of their day, so almost 20% of their day, with their phone in their hand, not making money to have it in their hand. That is outrageous to me. That is beyond outrageous. What's even more outrageous is when it's a teammate who tells me that they don't have time to work their business. That really pisses me off. I'm going to tell you that right now. But again, I'm learning to discipline my disappointment. That's not on me. You know, sometimes I'll bring it up in a nice way, but it is a second home now for most Americans. And if this is where the audience goes, then this is where business goes. Money goes where eyes are. Okay? And businesses have actually been very slow to recognize this. So build a personal brand on your social medias. No excuses, he talks about. Build around what you love. Stop putting, what did I say? Barners? Ugh. I can't even read my, barriers. Stop putting barriers around yourself. And pose that question to yourself. What barriers have you been putting up around yourself? So there's times where I sit here and I'm like, I'll start to compare. It's usually a compare thing. Well, I'm not as pretty as her. Well, my husband's not working it with me like the Butlers are working it together. So that's why I'm not super affiliate. Well, I have 2 young kids and we have this going on. These are all barriers that we all put around ourselves. And all those barriers are the reasons why we're not excelling like we could be. Okay? It's 8 o'clock. No, it's 7 o'clock my time. It's 7 o'clock my time. We don't do daylight savings, Robert. So sometimes it's 7, sometimes I'm 2 hours behind, sometimes I'm 3 hours behind, East Coast. So I know some people say I have a full-time job. I have kids. My team's not working. I don't have enough potentials. I'm too old. I'm too young. I don't know enough about social media. I'm not computer savvy. I'm too computer savvy. I'm an introvert. These are all barriers. Shut up. Stop. Write out the barriers right now that you guys think is the reasons why you're not doing as good as you thought you were doing in this. I want you to burn them. I want you to burn them tonight. because those are barriers. You're allowing yourselves those excuses. You're allowing them. And there's people out there just like you that had those same situations. An artist was once really bad at art. So if you're not tech savvy, it doesn't mean you can't learn. If you're too old, as you might say, it doesn't mean that you can't act young at heart. If you're too young, it doesn't mean you can't act too, older and more mature. If you have a job, you can give yourself an extra 30 minutes a day. I have vowed to myself to try not to watch like TV shows this entire month, because it doesn't pay my bills, and I want to capitalize on this. I want to take my family overseas. There's no reason why we can't be where Kristen and Travis are, the super affiliates. Okay. So no excuses. Stop putting up the barriers. What are those barriers you keep giving yourself? Seriously, think about that and let it go. Burn it, get rid of it, and stop. Just stop. It's never a bad time to start a business unless you're only starting a mediocre business. So when people say it's just timing's not right for me, it's never a bad time. Never a bad time unless you just plan to be mediocre. A person who can dominate during rough times is a person who can dominate, period. So usually they say the J months are very slow for all types of sales. If you can dominate then, you're going to dominate the months coming, okay? Do you jump up every morning eager to go to your job? If not, why are you there? Or why, like this was a really aha moment to me, because at one point in my life, I left a mediocre job and I looked for another mediocre job. And he said, do you jump up every morning eager to go to your job? And if not, why are you there? Or why are you looking for another one just like it? You got to get up and live your passion. So remember what that passion is in this for you. Start thinking yourself as a brand. Average salary of a person in America is $40,000 to $50,000 a year. You can do that doing something you love, or you can do that doing something you hate. So why not choose doing it with something you love, right? That was a big aha moment for me too. Skills are cheap, but passion is priceless. So passion cannot be taught, skills can. So break down those barriers on the social media, clumsiness, tech savvy crap. You can be taught. Google is a wonderful thing, and so is YouTube. Skills can be taught, but passion can't. Channel your passions to create amazing content. Social media equals business, period. So for me, when I think, what are my passions? What is my brand? I wrote some things down when I was thinking about that. Keto, CBD, holistic health, helping parents have more freedoms with their families. Do what makes you happy. So Leslie loves boating. My mom, Anne Marie, she is big into the foster scene. So maybe she can talk about tips for fosters or kids with PTSD and brand herself around that. Rob, I'm not super familiar with your guys' passion, but I know you're very good at recognizing those things. Gail has done a really good job as far as she keeps things kind of fun and flirty. But you have a daughter with ADHD. So maybe part of your brand is overcoming obstacles with an ADHD child. Debbie, you have arthritis. So maybe talking about things that have helped you, not only mentally, but physically. And it not necessarily, so these are things outside of you promoting your business, okay? When it comes to social media and creating a following and a brand, it comes to what value are you providing to people outside of trying to make a sale to them? And that's what you really need to think about. And as social media changes, because it will always change, the big picture never will. Okay? So I'd like for you guys to really, that's a little bit of homework. Think about what are your passions and what value can you add to people based upon those passions. So I'm going to be getting really back into, you know, those keto tips. Now, you need to make sure your stuff's posted public and that your settings allow for people to post, to comment, like, or share that are not your friends. That is in your settings, because that's how you're going to continue to gain this following with things. Because if you're not public and only your friends can see, you're closing yourself off to additional market. Okay. I keep my profile public so people can actually hit follow and not just friend me. So that creates a pretty big momentum in my business too. Now here's the thing. As you continue to learn, if you stop hustling, everything you learn will be useless. I know, I'm not going to say the name, but there's a person, a couple people on here that will learn all day long. They are so great at being on videos and personal development, especially personal development. But then once that book ends or that chapter ends, they're on to the next. And that's why I only really wanted you guys to go through chapter 4, is because it's not just about personal development. You have to apply what you learn. You have to get to work and hustle too. Debbie's raising her hand. So sometimes personal development can be a form of procrastination. Don't let that happen. Hustle. You've got to talk to new people. All right. I'm getting kind of long-winded here. I'm going to try to go over a few more. Don't compromise who you are, who you're meant to be, just to conform to society. Sometimes does it sneak up in your head, like maybe I should just worry about my 9-to-5 job and do like everyone else does. Don't compromise that, guys. You were made for more. You don't have to settle, and the internet especially will allow you to turn what you love into your own personal brand. Be an optimist. This is really big. A lot of the times when you're like, business is not what I want it to be, you start dwelling on these things and you start thinking of what it's not instead of what it could be, and it closes you off to opportunity all around you. And he gave the example of baseball cards and how there were certain baseball cards that were not in the guide, and he looked for scarcity, and instead of these cards not being in the guide, he spun it as them being authentic and made tons of sales. And so sometimes people will go, this is my one where I want to strangle y'all sometimes. I have so many potentials. They just don't have the money for the products. Cool. Have you offered them the opportunity? Well, no, I haven't because they don't have the money. Hello? Don't you think you should help them get money? I cannot believe you're not offering that. They can pre-sell. I literally, when people are like, I don't have the money to get started in the business, I'm like, do you really want to do this business with me? They're like, yeah. I'm like, if your kid was super sick and you needed $89 to get them unsick within 24 hours, what would you do? And that's what they need to do to get their business going, because that's how dire it is. And that's how much it can change their lives. And I tell them that. And I think that passion sometimes shines through. So excuses are crutches that we use. And a lot of times we use these excuses as to why we're not succeeding. So we got to take the crutch away. Take that excuse away. So what are you using as a bad perspective? Make sure that you take that and spin it for your advantage. Okay. I'm trying to think of an example. Okay, so when I was working 60 hours a week and I didn't have a lot of time to work the business, I was so frustrated because I know I could just rock it even harder if I had more time. So what I did is instead I spun it, and that became part of my brand. Listen, I don't have a ton of time, but this is what this is still doing for me in that time. Instead of me going, woe is me, I can't quit my job, I don't have enough time to work it like I'd like, because I work so much, and whining on that. Storytelling. Become a storyteller This is really big on social, guys. Tell a story. You're going to tell your story, someone else's story about the products or the business and how it's helped them 1,000 different ways, 1,000 different days. Okay? So be a storyteller on social media. It doesn't have to be, 20 paragraphs, but tell a story as opposed to being like, who wants to try CBD? What's better, right? So adjust your social posts and your interactions to tell a story. Okay, so in chapter 2, Gary Vee had a lot of like things come up, and what I noticed personally is all of his successes stemmed from solving a problem. So don't be afraid when you get a problem. Be resourceful to become a problem solver. And a lot of the times your social posts and your stories are designed to solve a problem. Think of them like that. So the other day I posted about Joey, my husband, picking up an extra shift for work. He's like, hey babe, you want me to pick up an extra shift for work? And I was like, no, we don't need it. We just relax. We got it good for a little bit. Yeah, we should still hustle, but you don't have to do that, babe. So I think of that wife that maybe wants her husband home a little bit more, that husband that wants his wife home a little bit more. And I was trying to tell a story and solve a problem for them. Like, here's your solution. Okay? So be a problem solver with the business, with the products too. Solve a problem with someone who has a migraine. You don't have to say, oh, check out this, what CBD can do for you. It can do blah, 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 blah. And you're trying to reach all the masses. Talk to one person in your post, and others will come about, or they'll share it with another person who has that problem. So these are a lot of problems I see that come up in this business when people say, I don't have the money. You got to be the problem solver. Let's help you make money then. Well, I don't have the money to start as a business. Okay, well, let's help you pre-sell. I'm going to help you post every other day. Let's set up a online party for you. Let's do a home party. And what products we sell there, we'll use that money to get your kit. I don't have the time. This is another problem. Great. Do you always want to not have that time? I hate my job. These are all problems that I see come up on Facebook. Be a problem solver. I have a health problem. I have a mental problem. Offer to help solve these problems. You are a problem solver, and that's how you get to make your money. Chapter 3 is all about building your personal brand. If you didn't hone in and take notes on that, I recommend you do. Social media has no gatekeeper, no editor, no publisher, etc. So you get to write your own story, right? And that's really, really cool. Before, you might have to advertise and get approvals and do this and pay for your advertisement. Authenticity is key. What are your passions about? Be authentic. Don't look at my post and copy paste it, right? Be authentic about you. Use it as inspiration for yours. Opportunity arises with transparency. They want to know the person they're dealing with is being honest. So I don't necessarily always like talking about my bad times and my hard times and my problems, but sometimes being transparent about those and telling people how we overcame is what helps. Okay, so don't be afraid to be transparent about how you might be socially awkward or how you don't understand technology fully, but you're still making this work and giving it efforts. Don't be afraid to tell somebody, I don't know it all about this business. I don't know, but I'll find out for you. I know that we have a great supportive team behind us to help us. Transparency is key. Don't feel like you have to know everything. Okay? I'm still learning, but I have a kick-ass team that's always there to help. And you'll be a part of that if you decide to join. You know, those are things I tell people. Launch your opinions loud and clear. Do not be afraid to talk about cannabis. Do not be afraid to talk about network marketing and joining, you know, like offering that opportunity. Some people are like, I don't want people to be afraid of MLMs. It's like, you're in an MLM, get over it. You know? Trust your own palate. Don't be a copycat. Be you. Especially when shaping your brand. Don't put on an act. Like some people were like, well, I'm going to do the keto thing too. I'm going to talk about that and I'm going to post tips on that. And it didn't work so well for them because they really weren't so passionate about it. Build your word of mouth on social platforms. You got to be public to do that. Everybody is creating a personal brand without even realizing it. And so you have to be mindful of what you do post on social media. Sometimes I see some of our teammates share like 20 memes a day, and it drives me bananas because they're the same ones that don't have time to work their business. But think about that, okay? Is that share, is that post, is that within the brand of who you want to be and become? I challenged myself to get on LinkedIn, so that was a personal challenge. He said something, you cannot afford to be one-dimensional with your posts. So an example of that would be like unnecessary, unbranded posts that are not within your brand that you want to be. Last but not least, chapter 4, a whole new world. This was kind of quick and to the point. He said, no matter how much you like your job, you should always aim to leave it. Otherwise, you're never really living your passion. He still continues to kind of hone in on social media being, you know, a platform for explosion because money flows where the eyeballs are. Content, so your content must attract eyeballs. And this goes back to expanding your network. Do not be afraid to expand your network and add people that also are within your brand. So when I put a keto tip up and it's public, I go in and I start networking and messaging people authentically that also like keto. Maybe they have a problem on a keto group I'm in on Facebook, and I say, hey, you know, I saw you had this problem. If it's okay, I'd like to offer some advice. And then we get in a conversation and I say, you know, hey, you're welcome to a friend or follow me. I do put tips up on this frequently. Or I might send them a friend request. I got 2,000 friends in a couple of months, random friend requesting people this way. And then again, we go back to the law of averages we talked about in the beginning of this. There are a good 20 affiliates I have enrolled that I have never met, that I met from groups about keto, about curly hair, about Zumba, or about just Tucson and Arizona, my local hometown. So that is a tool for you. But if you are spammy and commercialized on your posts and that's all they see, why by any means would they want to be your friend? You're not adding value to them in their lives. You're asking for sales nonstop. So you have to have a brand that is going to add value to people without needing a sale. Okay. So I might post my routine. Like, this is another idea I have. People are always asking me, like, how did your hair transform like that? So I might do a video about my routine in the product. Maybe I do a post about the product I'm using. And that's public. And then I go to a curly hair group, and I start adding people and interacting with their stuff and stuff like that. So these are all ideas. Now you do need to go back and remove any friend requests, of course, for people that have not. My suggestion to you guys too is to clean up. Every day I try to say happy birthday to those people whose birthdays it is. A lot of the times I unfriend people during that time too. I'm not trying to be rude, but I look at their page and it's ghetto and it's negative and it's not for me. So like I know Leslie's at 5,000 friends. In my mind, 5,000 friends means my live video should have at least 500 views every single time. If it's not, I have screwed up the algorithm. I'm being too salesy, too copycatty, posting too much, or I'm not providing value like I should. Minimum of that. Okay, so you have to kind of build it back up. As you create social equity, your posts about your business sprinkled in will pull just a little bit from the equity. So you have to build equity up and trust and build value in people in order to pull from the equity. Okay, so I want you guys to kind of think about that. If it's all salesy, all business, it's just not, nobody wants to see that. Someone had something in the chat. My mom says she's got to run. Love you. Okay. He says, does your company allow you a public persona about what you're passionate about? Are you allowed to post and talk and present about that in your work time or in your personal time? And if the answer is no to number 2 and 3, it's time to go. Otherwise, you will suffocate. Did anyone kind of like, whoa, when he said that on that chapter? That was kind of, you're going to just be working for someone else your whole life. And that's okay. That's for some people. That's okay. But you're always under the control of somebody else, right? That's kind of all I had in notes. But I really wanted to kind of set the platform for you guys really trying to understand your brand and developing that brand. Now, doing that not only on your stories, but on your personal page. So if you need, like, Melissa, like, I don't even know where to go. You got to figure out what it is you really love doing outside of CBD stuff. Maybe you like to cook. Maybe you like to exercise. Maybe you like cars. Maybe you like makeup. Maybe you like breeding dogs. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, maybe you like to garden. So you have value and you're good at certain things. So provide value to people that are trying to be good in those things too and enjoy those things too. I love to Zumba. I could go on live and show people how to twerk. That would probably get some views. Now, Rob probably doesn't like to twerk. So this is where being authentic and being you is really super important. Okay, so there's no copycat script in this world of branding yourself. So I want you guys to just really think on that. And I think he's going to give us throughout this book really good tools to crush it in that sense. Any input anybody wants to put into their aha moments, ideas? Does anybody want to talk about their brand? Or need help with their brand? Go ahead, Gail. If you tap the screen, you can have it.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I think for me is my biggest thing was, trying to brand myself and, figuring out my why, getting back to why I'm, doing this, right?
Yeah.
But I think for me, reading these 4 chapters is really made me realize that you have to write down your why. And, I have a dream board sitting next to me that I've cut things out. And, so you really have to, for me, I'm a very visual person. So I think it's good to have it in front of you, or affirmations like, don't give up. Like, for instance, my biggest thing is affirmation. So on the top of my board, I don't think you can see it. Well, you can see, kind of. No, hard. I'll just read it. It just says, never quit, draw a line in the sand. Failing isn't an option. I'm doing it until I make it.
Yeah.
So it's something every day that I look at, right? So for me, I have my leads, I have my customers, and I have my affiliates. And I have a list, and then, for me is just, writing them all down and, who I sent what to, and just, like you said, getting out there and talking to 10 new people a day. That's kind of my goal.
Yeah.
Is just getting out there again and just doing it. Quit making excuses. Just do it. I think that's my biggest thing is like, I can do it. I've chose for a long time not to do it.
Yeah. And I've been there.
Because you get comfy and you get, oh, I don't want to do another multi-level marketing. They're all the same. And I just got in my head that I wasn't going to do it until I tried the product. Yeah. And I kind of sat on it for 3 months. I mean, I've been in since January, and I just did my first event, last weekend, 2 weekends ago. So for me, it's like, okay, you know, it's just getting back, you know, like you said, just writing things down, believing in yourself is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Getting that back.
I would really challenge you guys to take it even a little bit further and wake up with a mindset of what and put out into the universe and say, like, all right, universe, this is happening today. I am enrolling 3 executives today. I remember one day getting really specific, like sitting there for just like 2-3 minutes. And I said, all right, I'm behind. I am trending behind. I did this on 420 and I did this a couple months or a month before that. And on 420, I was trending behind for 50K, like really behind. And I was like, you know what? No, I want this team to get 7,000. We're getting 7,000. And I'm like, our average is about 2,000 a day as a team, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Is amazing. But I was like, no, we're getting 7,000 today. Like, I was like, no, this is happening. And I remember just throughout the day, just climbing up. And I woke up the next morning to see where we were at in comparison to the day before. And it was like 7,500. And I was like, what? I really like fully didn't believe it. But I told myself, this is where I want to be. This universe, this is what I need from you. And this is what we need to happen. And it, you know, it works. So I would put that out to you guys to say, universe, today I am enrolling an affiliate. I'm enrolling a customer. They're going to be executives and they're going to be my rock star. And, you know, constantly keeping that mindset like that. Anybody else want to share? Anyone feel lost within what they feel their brand is, or do you feel like maybe you need to stew on that for a little bit and think about it? Any favorite parts of the book or the? Let me unmute you, Robert. Go ahead.
Yeah, what struck me is working on content. Is with time constraints that we have or I have, and putting out good content instead of sporadic, not good content.
Yeah. I know one thing when I was working that I would do, sometimes I'll be sitting there and I'm like, God, that would be a good post. Or something happens. Like I remember walking my kids to school for the first time since I had quit my job. And I thought, God, it's so beautiful out. This is so awesome. My kids are getting exercise. Like I'm walking to go pick them up. My dog's getting a walk. And I thought, oh, I need to share about this. Like how many people stress about this? And so I took the picture and I wrote it down and then I didn't post it till later. So like sometimes when I was working, I would, oh, let me write it all out now. And then I'll post it later, you know? So I don't know if that helps. Or, you know, writing it even in your notes because gosh, committing anything to memory for me is a fail. So anyone else?
So I have one, like I struggle with content too, like intentional, good quality, my brand content. And I know all the ways of what not to do. I just really struggle with what to do or what to say or how to say what I want to say. And I do see ideas that are, oh my gosh, it's so great, well put things. And then I try to use them as inspiration, but it doesn't work for me. I feel like I'm not creative in that aspect. So how do you overcome that? Like, what do you suggest?
I think the first part is to really understanding your passion in it and really being clear on what your brand is. Like, could you seriously sit there and say, like, I can add value in this, and this to other people's lives? And if you can't, you need to become clear on that. Become really clear on what you can provide value to. So for what I can see from an outsider looking in, is the boating. So you could provide tips on what to pack for a boat trip, how to healthy boat food recipes for the boat. Like, for example, I know because I boat, like, hey, here's a hacker tip for you lake people or you boat people freeze your water bottles ahead of time so that you don't have to go through ice like crazy. You know, things like that, Leslie. So now that doesn't, now if you're like, but that's all I've got, girl, you need to go out and have some fun. Stop, slow down. You don't always have to be working 1,000% of the time. I'm not telling you not to hustle, but sometimes, like today, I'm not posted today on my personal page. I'm still getting interaction. It's okay to slow down and not put something out every once in a while. It's okay. Now, I don't recommend doing it for a week straight where you don't have anything up. But if your content is good enough, it's going to continue to get interaction. So instead of being like, oh, I got to get a post up, I haven't posted in 2 days, here's a picture of a CBD bottle with all the things, the words that it can help with on it. Boring. Sorry, but I know a lot of people do it, but it's boring. It's boring, and Facebook hates it because it's not authentic, so it hides your post. And what that in turn does is makes less people see your future posts. So what I also would encourage you, Leslie, is when you are going to post, I need you to think of one person you're talking to in that post. And instead of pretending like you're actually making a post, you're pretending like you're having a conversation with that person. So a lot of times in my posts, you see me use stuff like you. I know you are struggling. I'm not saying, hey, Facebook friends, are you all struggling with blah, blah, blah. I'm not trying to the masses. I'm talking to you. And people see that as a personal. Like, I've had people message me and go, it's like you are talking right to me. And that's like, that was the point, you know? So I want you to pick one person. You just saw someone post about migraines. Listen, I know you're struggling with that thumping pain in your head, and I want you to know that there is another way. And then solve that problem. You don't have to put up with worrying about becoming addicted to opioids. You don't have to put up with the endless neurologist appointments. There's an option for you. You know, I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to Facebook Worldlandia. You. So have a conversation with someone in your posts, not to Facebook World. You're welcome. Go ahead, Debbie. Oh, hold on. Let me unmute you.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with doing the events. I love doing them because I like talking to people. My problem is like social media, going on the Facebook and putting the right thing. I'm wondering if I'm putting the right thing. The video I just did was me trying to do something different.
I liked that. That. And the only way you're going to find out what is different and works for you is by continuing to try.
Yeah, because you know, like I ended up, like you said, be like you're talking to someone.
Yes.
And that's kind of how I felt that one.
Yes.
Is that, yeah, I was actually talking to someone.
Your lives are going to be amazing, and for your business, I would say try to keep them between 5 to 15 minutes. If you guys are nervous about lives in the beginning, reach out on the team page, reach out to myself, your uplines, whatever, and say, hey, can we go live together? And that helps a lot because you're just having a conversation with someone, and other people are just eavesdropping in, really. So don't be afraid. That's why we have Hemp Squad. We are a team, and there's a lot of people I know that want to go live, and you have such a great, amazing testimony that would add value to other people, and their testimony will add value to the people that are tuning in on your end.
Yeah,
So
I'm looking forward to my next event is the 19th.
Yeah.
So I've been searching, and I can only go so far from where I am because I don't drive much.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I would say get some lead boxes up too, and businesses around you, so you can expand your network that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally. Susan, did you have anything? Anyone else have anything that they wanted to add or ask? How many lives per week? I would say like 1 to 2. Maybe do one on CBD and a testimony. I love doing Testimony Tuesday. And then I love the flow that we have. Like Fridays are such an amazing time to get pre-enrollees because they have that whole week to kind of view things. So Fridays, I normally do an opportunity post. Tuesdays, I like to post a testimony. Now, what I'm hoping to do is like Wednesdays will be my keto information, or maybe Wednesday's your testimony day, and it's because it's hemp day instead of hump day, or whatever, however you want to go about that. There's no right or wrong answer to that. Now, when you guys are posting, I will challenge you to think about this. When are most people on social media? After dinner, right before bed. So posting at 10 a.m. when most people are at work, posting at 3 p.m. when most people are at work is usually not the best times. 70% of people grab their phone first thing in the morning when they wake up. So early morning is usually really good. But the best one is usually at bedtime, right? And I like to, it's called like riding the wave. So I might post at 6-ish because I have a lot of East Coast people too, which is 9. And East Coast people stay up later. I swear they do. Where West Coast people are like, it's 8:30, I need to go to bed. So I like to ride the wave. I like to post at 6 and I ride the wave into the night. And usually I'm still getting interaction in the morning because that's what more people are seeing as they first wake up. So I might post something funny in the morning just to kind of wake things up. But sometimes I don't post anything at all. But my lives are never going to be unless it's a keto live and it's just the only thing I can do at the only time I can do it, unless it's a weekend too. I won't do a 10 a.m. or a 2 p.m. Nobody's on. So. Oh, okay, Susan, gotcha. All right, we totally went a long time. So I'm going to stop the recording here unless anybody else has any input or questions. Who are the iPhone users? Can you type in the chat who you are? I'm really curious. I like to know who's showing up. It says, so Gail, I see her name, but then it says iPhone. Does anyone else see that? You can unmute yourself. Ashley, yay, hey Ash. And then there's another right next to Jennifer Lauren. Any takers? Who that is? I want to stop the recordings.